Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing awesome on this Thursday, March 6th, 2023. And today for you guys, we're going to be kind of discussing the impacts of AI in the real estate world that we function and operate in, the goods, the bads, and kind of the overall consensus that Rick and I have found, things that work, things that don't work, and kind of where we're headed in the future with all of that. And so, once again, I am one of your hosts, Andrew Marshall with MHC Realty. And over here is my one and only partner in crime, Rick Gillespie with Homebridge Financial.
We have made a change.
Oh, yeah, we have a little update for you guys. So, Rick, kind of tell everybody,
Sure.
About
Just,
the change and all that.
Had a merger between Homebridge and CMG Home Loans. So
Nice.
moving forward, as of April 1st, we will be CMG Home Loans.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
And the exciting part about this, too, is just from what I have heard about the new company that you guys will be under, they have a lot more resources and, a lot more options to be able to help you guys,
Absolutely.
get what you want in the mortgage world. So, it's a lot more lending tools.
It's a win-win for sure.
So, yeah, it's exciting, man.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
With that being said, you guys, once again, as far as AI is concerned, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about everything from Chat GPT, as well as, Microsoft entering the race with this new AI technology. It's pretty fascinating, but also a little scary on the, immense amount of information that it can provide you with based on whatever you ask it. So a lot of people are utilizing this to do everything from write short stories, little kids' short storybooks, to creating full-on, pamphlets and booklets that you also use Canva for like the art cover.
Sure.
And then it will literally write a whole book for them, as well as like a lot of motivational speakers are using this for motivational quotes.
Sure.
So, like I said, it's very useful and can come in handy, but I think the dark side of it is and can be applied to real estate. And so, today kind of want to take you guys on the journey of diving into why that could be a bad thing with real estate. And for myself, I kind of have firsthand experience at one of my old brokerages. We actually would utilize a particular technology that was AI related and would actually reach out to clients that we had.
Okay.
So in theory, you guys are probably thinking, well, why is that a bad thing? That probably helped you, saved you time. But if anything, it was 9 times out of 10 more of a headache, because then you would have to go back in as an actual human and either apologize or clarify.
There it is, clarify.
Yep. To your potential client or clients that you're already working with, and they would say, Andrew, why is this, Raya is her name, the AI, just such a random name too, but she would basically just, say something random, and they'd say, hey, we already clarified this or that. Why is Raya this random person reaching out to us? And so, it kind of would sort of not ruin things, but just confuse the client.
Muddy the water for sure.
And the last thing you want in such a big transaction is any confusion involved.
Sure. Yeah.
Once again, that is, I would say, the dark side of AI. And the one time that I actually at one point turned it off because, it just wasn't helping. So
Right. I would probably say that that's probably a fair statement. It's one thing if it adds benefit to the experience.
Oh, yeah.
But when it presents challenges, and again, you and I both know that what we do is very relationship oriented.
Yep.
And so I don't have a problem with people educating themselves, getting online, maybe learning and becoming a better person or understanding more.
Yeah.
It makes the process more just enjoyable for them and less stressful.
Yeah. Well, that's clarity too.
Yeah. And so, but when you throw in this piece of, trying to get away from the fact of gosh, it just, for lack of a better way of saying it, it kind of just reeks of two things in my book. It kind of has a little bit of laziness to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have that personal touch. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure it's going to have its place, but I just would rather, communicate. And I don't mind, like a lot of people, like I was definitely into like sitting down across from somebody face to face. Well, we both know COVID has changed that.
Yeah, it changed the
Right.
game completely. Yeah,
Yeah, so we're doing a lot more texting, a lot more Teams, right? Zooms, right?
online. Yeah,
Yeah, so a lot of times the first time I even meet a client is at the closing table, which I'm fine with,
yeah, the face-to-face interaction. Yeah,
right? But I want to be able to walk them through, and like I just can't imagine answering some of those questions through an AI that my clients have, because the AI is going to do fine, but we need
Mm-hmm.
to knock it out of the park, right?
Yeah, and to that point too, every situation is so different
Oh yeah,
and so unique. So when you have these people coding, these AI
sure.
generators that are self-learning and stuff, they can only, keep up so much on the feeling, emotional, um, daily tasks
Sure.
because it's very generic responses typically.
That's a good word. You use a good word. It's very generic, right?
Yep.
It doesn't have that piece where we have emotion to when we're talking to people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what separates us, luckily, from AI, us being humans and all, is
Right.
that emotional aspect piece. And until the day comes where a house can sell itself to another
Sure.
house,
Sure.
and vice versa, where just human beings aren't in the process at all, which obviously will never happen because that's the whole point,
Right. Right.
is getting that client from point A to point B. Um, so the best part about all this is that sure, it can be utilized for certain things
Sure.
at the right time, kind of a time and place for it,
Sure.
but it'll never actually, in my personal opinion, and I think Rick would agree, it'll never actually 100% take over, just because it just simply cannot measure and account for all the different responses and tones and feelings. And there's a lot of feelings involved in this
Oh
transaction.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a very emotional roller coaster ride. So you got to
Yep.
have the right professionals helping you.
Yep.
And so, yeah, once again, it can be utilized for certain things and certain aspects in the home buying process. And I think it should be, because the more access that we can provide, for ourselves to prevent you guys from making any type of, getting yourself into a situation where maybe you thought one thing and you need a clarification on it.
Sure.
But instead of asking Rick or I, you maybe went to some sort of AI resource online. You don't know who developed it, you don't know who created it. So
Right.
the answer could be skewed, it could be different. So please, please always feel free to reach out to us
Right.
as the experts. And then if you're still unsure about it, we can even look at it for you guys.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, because I actually experienced exactly what you're talking about today. I had a gentleman that he's, already under contract,
Mm-hmm.
right? He loves the house. We've gone through some loan scenarios, and without fail, now it's not directly AI, but it's
Kind of
kind
similar.
of is, where he's calling me and says, "Hey, have you ever heard of a 3-2-1 buy down?"
Oh, yeah.
Well, some sort of AI. The system out there knows that he's buying a home.
And we have talked about the whole buy down.
Right.
So if you guys
Yeah.
do want more information about that, we do have our first podcast actually that we did. So go check that out if you guys do have any more questions about that.
Right. Well, what was interesting though is he had never heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
But here comes this AI blipping his phone, blipping his PC, and next thing you know, he's calling me. Now, if he had clicked on it or kind of gone somewhere where AI was talking about a 3-2-1 buy down, there's nuances to a 3-2-1 buy down. He doesn't fit.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he was almost hook, line, and sinker ready to do this thing. And I went, let me walk you through it intuitively, human to human.
Yep.
And he realized, like, that would have been a horrible mistake. Yep, probably would have. But
Because it seemed exciting at the beginning.
at the beginning, but I'm finding that communication to him about that product did not help him. It made him more stressed.
yeah,
Okay?
well, probably more confused, probably
Sure.
more stressed. Yeah.
Right. Then he's clicking along, and here comes the next one. It was a 203K FHA loan.
Oh, man.
And it was selling him on all this conceptual stuff where, and I say it like that because it's a con,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things where I had to walk him back from that. So my point being is there's going to be a lot of information coming quickly,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't mean that it applies to all of us in our scenario.
Yeah.
And that's where the human interaction needs to happen.
Well,
And I have no problem walking him through it. I actually kind of enjoy kind of educating, because at the end, he's not going to think I swindled him at all. He's going to think I protected him.
yeah, because
So,
you're providing clarity, you're providing,
yep.
a definite answer.
Well, and I do have his best interests at heart, right? Like, that's where the relationship piece kind of comes in, where the AI is never going to be able to provide that.
The
Hey,
human emotion
I
piece, yeah.
do, I would rather see myself not close a deal, making sure that the deal was correct for you,
Yeah.
where
yeah.
an AI ain't going to do that.
No.
Right? They're just not.
I mean, like I said, it can offer certain benefits
Sure.
and certain really good things. And I think in certain situation, it is needed.
Sure.
But once again, in any type of relationship business, it can be used and utilized as a tool primarily, as kind of put on the back burner until it's actually needed. It shouldn't
Sure.
be your first go-to. Like, to Rick's point, you guys go to a website, and that website has a pop-up, and the pop-up is this little AI, whatever it would be
They're
called.
everywhere.
And,
Come on.
and,
Yeah.
and they're everywhere nowadays, because a lot of these websites utilize it because they want to cut costs with
Sure.
their chat function,
Sure.
where they actually have a human being on the back end who is replying to your chat or whatever it is you're using to communicate. Typically, it's a chat. And so they'll use it to basically filter through all of these comments and concerns, and the AI sometimes will get confused. And then
Right.
before you know it, you're getting all these weird emails. So
Right. Well,
you just got to
what's
watch out.
interesting about that too is when it comes to those mechanisms,
Mhm.
it's what you put in, right?
Yeah, like on the boxes.
Right. But what if you don't fully engross? Like, as humans, I can go, hey, let's, because I asked him on the 3-2-1 buy down.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
first question I asked him was, who's paying for it?
Yeah.
The AI ain't going to ask him who's paying for it. It's just describing how it works and what it does for you and how, like, all the benefits.
Yeah.
But the one question it never answered was, who's going to pay for it?
Yep.
As soon as I told him who pays for it, he's like, oh, I'm out, right?
Yeah, the mood changes a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because the expectation is different.
yeah, absolutely. So, but again, but then the flip side is I didn't mind having those conversations with him, because it allowed me
Mhm.
to speak into the scenario and show him I do have your best interest at heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he just gained more and more appreciation for our relationship. So on some level, I did win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well, and then, you got to build that trust, got to build
Yeah.
that relationship with
Yep.
him. It's nice too that he, sought out your counsel.
Sure. Right.
A lot of times I feel really bad for people who might be watching
Right.
this podcast right now and they're like, oh, this has happened to me. But, I didn't realize that I could have reached out to somebody else, because they take the info that the AI has given them.
Right.
They assume it is correct. They don't double check it.
Sure.
And then they're under false pretenses that, oh, whatever type of, structure or program it is,
Right.
they could totally get misled down this road. They start talking to friends and family about it.
Yep.
And before you know it, you have a group of people that is under the impression that it works this way.
Right.
When in reality, it could still be to your advantage, but we want to make sure that you guys are getting the right info.
Right.
So just, be aware of that. And like I said, we're the experts in that area. So if you guys do have questions about it,
Mhm.
and you're on the fence about whether something is right or wrong, by all means, AI is great, but having this human
Yep.
interaction verification process that I like to refer to it as
Sure.
is great, because we can kind of fill that for you guys.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, and I tell my clients all the time, I go, you're going to sit with a question in your brain, and let's say it's triggered by an AI.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest way to relieve that stress is not to continue to talk to the AI.
Yeah.
It's
Because
pick
it'll
up-
get
right.
probably worse and worse.
That's
yeah.
just a rabbit hole you tend to go down. Just pick up the phone. Sometimes the answer could be literally a few minutes to
Mhm.
relieve that stress. Or if you want to chat for a couple hours and just get yourself super educated, I'm down for whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're here for
yeah.
you guys. We want to make ourselves available to answer those questions. Once again, it can be frustrating if you've already
Mhm.
kind of gone down this rabbit hole. And, just to be honest with you guys, and full transparency, it's just going to continue to get a little bit crazier in the
Sure.
tech and
Sure.
AI world, as we see all these progressions with companies coming out with their own versions of ChatGPT. And so the competitive waters are there to be had.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, with everything moving at such a fast pace, and technology getting smarter and smarter, While it is a little bit scary, I think if we're using it in the correct ways, it can be very beneficial.
Sure.
How that will translate to real estate and affect us in an essence the lending and real estate side of it is kind of yet to be seen.
Sure.
Because once again, to Rick's point, it is a very relational business, and we want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
And I would hate using the word business. I would say relationship. And so, yeah, we definitely want to keep it that way, once again. And so hope that you guys kind of found this very informative. Kind of talked about both the light and dark sides of this and why it's so important to be wary of certain things on certain websites that could take you down that path. And so, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did like what you saw, please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment below if you guys do need clarification on anything else. We're always here for you guys and happy to answer any questions. And so, yeah, once again, I'm Andrew Marshall with MHC Realty.
And I'm Rick Gillespie at CMG Home Loans.
That's right. That's right. Got to get used to
Upgrade, baby.
So, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in today. Guys, hope you guys learned a lot. And once again, we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.